And this is RPGDad,
RPGNate.
and welcome to another weekend gaming wrap-up. This weekend, we did not do our normal level 24 through 30 epic campaign that we're doing. What did we do?
We did Bolt of the Dracolich. We were there because some wizard, I guess, wanted his diamond staff back, and some cult of a Dracolich was trying to take over the world.
Yeah, they were trying to corrupt. Well, something was more. They were saying they were corrupt. Remember when we got to the first room, they said something about corrupting the Dracolich or something like that. So, but we'll talk about that. Let's start off with what. Well, I was supposed to DM, and we expected 4 tables.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we always have a good turnout on Wednesdays, but a lot of the people from Wednesday couldn't make it. Some of the new players, like we said in our Encounters podcast, you know, we thought the 3 new players all couldn't make it. One ended up showing up halfway through, which was good. Yeah. It ended up helping the party, but, you know, there were people from all the tables at play that did not show. So that meant it started with a table of 5. Table 2 was a table of 4. And table 3, we were a table of 4. And then we ended up with a table of 5. And then somebody showed up later to help the one table. And then it was just goofy because the one DM had to go with his two kids that were playing to see Superman at 6:30. And this thing was supposed to go from 1 to 6, and that just didn't happen. It went till 8:30 or so.
Yeah.
It was long. It was kind of grueling because some of the combat just got bogged down. It was fun, but it got bogged down. Why don't you talk about the makeup of the characters of the group?
Well, I was a blackguard. He was a wizard. Mages aren't in existence.
Yeah, an elf wizard.
We had a thief, a cleric, and then the hunter showed up late.
Yeah, we had the cleric was an elf. What's the thief?
The thief is a half orc, I want to say.
Okay.
He's that, something like that.
And then our ranger, I think he's an elf too.
Yeah.
So we were pretty elf heavy. I played the wizard. I don't play wizards. I just don't like the class. It's not something I usually like to play, but I'll admit I had fun playing it. Some of that was because I ended up dealing tons of damage once I started using that flaming sphere. But and that really saved our party once we got to 3rd, 4th room. It was ridiculous. But we'll talk about that. The first room, what did we come in on? What area?
The lizardmen.
It was the village, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so we came in, and there's lizardmen and troglodytes. Now, when I was getting my table ready, who the people were going to play, I made sure I told them, look, this is a potential TPK, Total Party Kill Adventure.
Yes.
It's designed to kill everybody. It's not supposed to be easy. So you need to actually think and role play. And the module is even designed. It says make sure everybody, people are going to want to role play because there's a good chance you're going to die if you just try to blast through rooms with 12, 15 people.
Our DM didn't say anything about role playing.
Once we ended up moving over, I chimed in and said, this is what I've told my players. And, if that's okay, then you probably want to say that to everybody that's at the table. And he did. And so we did role play. So what happened when we got to the troglodyte village?
Well, first we saw like 2 troglodytes and 2 lizardmen. And
we sent the thief in, remember?
Yeah, the thief went in, he saw 2 troglodytes, 2 lizardmen, and he came back and he told us he had heard more in each of the little huts that were there.
So we knew there were a bunch.
So we go up, we figure we'll try this. If it doesn't work, we'll try to kill them. Probably not, though. So we go up, we start talking to them. And we figured out that they didn't like the cult that was there. Because while they worshipped the dragon as a god, the cult saw the Dracolich as something that would help them take the world.
Yeah.
So
now our checks, we don't have this was 5th edition. It was next, so we don't have the same type of checks we've had with 4th edition. You don't have the bluff and everything.
Well, yeah, you have bluff. But
my character had persuade, and then there were a couple other things that were not just lore related that I was able to use throughout the thing. But they don't give you all this bluff, intimidate, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have intimidate.
But my character had Persuade. We didn't use Intimidate. I ended up using Persuade.
Well, Intimidate wouldn't have been a good idea.
No. I ended up using the Persuade. I got some good rolls, and I was able to talk them into the idea that, once we knew that they thought that, which our cleric was able to understand the lizard men.
Yes.
And she heard them saying, oh, we want to keep the swords and the shiny stuff they've given us, but they suck, basically. We really hate this cult. And once we had that information, it was pretty easy to tell them, look, we're here to stop the cult. We don't like the fact that they're defiling the Dracolich and all the stuff in here. So if you let us go through, we're going to kill these guys. And you don't have to worry about them bossing you around or any of this kind of stuff, and you can take their crap.
Yeah.
And you'll get even more shiny stuff out of it. And they were like, yeah, and we'll show you a secret passageway to get in there easier. So that made life a lot easier.
But the secret passage led to this library, and there was a book on the table. And, of course, like the smart wizard he is, he didn't check it for magical traps.
Well, if I was a thief, I would have carefully gone in, and I would have done all my thief checks and that kind of stuff. And we stayed at the doorway, and I used Mage Hand. And I'm like, all right, let's touch some of this stuff on the table. It was stupid, but yes. I thought we'd be safe. And what happens?
A gas cloud floods the room.
A glyph goes off.
Luckily, because I'm a paladin, I have Aura of Protection, and I gave everybody a +5 to the checks, so we made the save.
We made our checks. The thief failed trying to disarm the glyph, but that was both his error and a DM error, because he had thief tools, which would have helped him being able to do it.
Yeah.
But the fact that I was a mage, I was able to do it very easily. So I disarmed the glyph on the first try. I didn't get any bad rolls on that. In fact, I think I critted. I wasted a crit on something stupid. So we got in there. We really didn't find anything that good. I think we found a couple of scrolls.
Well, the scrolls actually helped because we ended up with Scroll of Bless, and that gave us an extra D4 in the final encounter.
Yeah, so we found a couple of scrolls. Nothing awesome. The other groups were finding money and magic weapons.
Well, in the end, I ended up carrying out this 5,000 gold piece tapestry thing. And, I sold that, so I have that.
Well, it would have gone to the group, so it would be 500 or what? 1,000 for each of the members of the group.
They didn't help me.
We're not getting into that. All treasures split in the group. You know that. But anyway, and it doesn't, you're going to have to split it 5 ways because I was there, but my character won't be there because I'll be DMing encounters.
4 ways then.
But anyway, we get through the library, and we go to the next room, which was what? Well, first, we tried to go south. And, the thief, we had him each time because another rule that I was establishing at my table, and I think the DM that we went, he decided to do the same thing because it makes you role play. I had said, if you say it, you do it. And I always have a problem with when characters sit there and you're in a room supposedly and you're sitting there going, so what do you want to do? Do you want to kill this guy? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? You can't do that in a room filled with people that are your enemies or whatever. You would have to plan this out beforehand. And that helped because it seemed like the whole table role-played more this time because of the you say it, you do it rule. The thief was careful. He'd go in, stealth in, and he'd do recon. I would do, what were the 2 skills that I had? It was like listen and something that let me able to see things.
Search.
And search.
Or
spot, yeah. So between the 2 of us, which we didn't get great rolls, but he had a bad feeling when we went to the south. So we said, all right, well, we'll go the other way. Well, the other way ended up being worse.
Yeah.
So the other way put us where?
The other way put us in the barracks. At first, it wasn't too bad because the first combat just had some wolves, cultists, and guards.
It was 4 cultists. 4 cultists. It was 4 guards and 2 wolves, and one guard ran away.
One of the guards ran out and brought 4 more back.
Yeah.
But we wiped them out pretty easily.
They were a non-entity
because you put a flaming sphere up. I killed the 2 wolves, and then I killed 1 cultist. The cleric got quite a few with crossbow. The rogue definitely helped because he had the poison all.
Yeah, I ended up turning a lot into bacon.
Yeah. So
And then the last cultist, we just said, we said, look, these guys, because I had the flaming sphere floating towards him.
You put a bunch to sleep too.
I used sleep in there too.
Yeah.
Knocked out like 3 of them. And then at the end, I had the Baconator, we called it, the flaming sphere, heading towards the guy. We said, I can either fry you or you can just surrender. And he goes, I'm just going to go back to sleep. So we tied him up and took his robes.
Yeah. And then we tried to go through the next door, and there was a glyph on it.
And the next room was, an
altar. It was altar of
the
Bell.
altar room, kind of like a cathedral.
Yeah, it was called the altar of Bell.
Yeah.
But this is the one time the thief did not check for traps.
And I didn't check. I didn't do an Arcana check or any of the stuff I could have done.
It ends up blowing up in our face. That was thanks to you guys. So thank you.
We took damage. So it turns out that the glyph there only attacked non-members or non-believers of the cult. But we still tried to go in, and we tried to bluff our way, and the guy goes, well, that glyph only harms people who are not members of the cult. And we never have fully entered the room, so we go, okay, bye. And we slam the door shut. The thief uses pitons to nail it shut and does a thief check that he crits on.
Yeah.
And he just mucked up the lock, so it took him a lot of time to get through there. And then he went to the south of the room, and he does the other door, but he never made it to the third door.
Damn. It's, definitely any non-cultist who touches the door while the ward is active is subjected to a wave of necrotic energy. That was fun.
And it was 4d8. I think it was. We only took like 13 damage off of it.
Well, because we all, or no, the one thing it would have helped that I actually saved on, I did not save. Everybody else saved because I gave them that +5, but I did not save. Or no, it was a to hit. It was a to hit. It was a +5 to hit, so it wasn't a save. But I was the only one he actually hit, so
But it ended up. The combat ended up being hilarious because there were about 19 guys in the room.
Yeah.
And the fact that we locked that door, it meant that they had to move and go through the other door. So it looked like about half of them tried to come through the door that we first went through. The other half tried to go through the other door that the thief locked. And then more went around the south. And the uneasy feeling he had was more guys to the south that ended up coming in to join the fray.
That would have helped if we would have actually went that way and emptied the room, because then we wouldn't have had 20 guys.
Well, we would have had about 19 guys. We ended up with close to 28 guys that we were dealing with by the time they came through. There was 3 rooms full of guys. It was just crazy. But we knew they were going to come through. We set up readied actions. I was going to do another flaming sphere, use my last level 2 spell. The ranged characters were going to fire. The thief was going to sit down there. I don't know why I decided to sit down there and wait, because he should have come in and helped take care of it. We probably would have been better off go through the cathedral room, come around, and take them from behind. We ended up staying in that barracks, and it didn't go so well for you.
No. I ended up dying, and I came back as a white.
Yes, you did, and we ended up having to kill you because the white was the one thing that if you rolled a 1, you ended up attacking everything in the room until you were dead.
Yes.
Fortunately, we were all playing ranged, and the thief was already down by that time, and trying to fake being dead, and they were still poking him because he kept failing his checks. But it was funny because I think I took out about 18 guys with that flaming sphere.
Yeah.
If I had not taken the wizard, we didn't have the flaming sphere, we probably would have had a TPK in that room. Easily.
I took out like 3 guys as a white because they were just standing there.
They were standing there when you died. They were the ones that attacked you and killed you, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, now he's attacking us again, and he's a white.
And then I go and coup de grace somebody because I'm white, and then I go try to kill the thief.
Yep, but we took care of you because the flaming sphere kept killing you. And fortunately, you didn't make your saving rolls on the flaming sphere.
Oh, I made every single one.
No, you didn't. The last one, you took 12 damage. That got you down to 2. I was watching your hit point sheet. You were down to 2, and then somebody shot you. I think the ranger shot you on the last one and took you out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a brutal room. We ended up burning a lot of heals. The cleric walked out without burning any heals, though. I think she burned her potions, and she still had a ton of healing spells left when we got to the final encounter. But this encounter in the barracks took what? Because it ended up being 3-4 rooms at one time coming in. It was like 2-3 hours that we took in that. And
5th edition, too.
It's 5th edition, but it was because it was so many things coming in, so many rounds, you know. It was just ridiculous. The other groups were able to get through more, I think, because they didn't encounter the rooms that were quite as bad. I mean, the one had the Hydra, but they took that down pretty quick.
We got all the worst rooms, and then they got all the treasure.
They got the treasure. We didn't get anything
treasure.
Great. You know, they had magic items and a lot of gold. And what kind of cracks me up is here you got the one group who are supposed to be lawful good, and the paladin was just a douche. You know, since you're all there as a big group, you know, if it weren't for them behaving that way, I would have been all for the group sharing gold and stuff like that, because that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was the biggest group of douche, lawful good characters I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
All secretive, and that's not the way you play that kind of character. But, you know, if I was DMing, that guy would end up losing his lawful good status by the end of the encounter session.
He would lose his paladin as well.
So. Yeah, well, that's too bad, because he's playing like a douche. And, yeah, it's true. You know, historically, people who are paladins, I say that with quotes, were biggest douches on the planet. But you know what? In game, it's not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be a goody two-shoes, not a greedy dick.
No.
And that's really what the characters were being like for a bunch of people who are supposed to be lawful good. So, I mean, some people, they play characters, but they don't understand how to play them. I think that's a problem. Now, one of the issues we had through this were the DM preparation. You know, when characters die, there was a specific rule set. And it seemed like half the DMs, 2/3 of the DMs, well, 3/3, one knew because I told him once we started, the death rules. But the other two didn't. I mean, you had characters instead of... The death rules were, you know, if you're dead, you roll a Constitution save.
Yeah.
If you make it, you can get up. Now, you had to roll, and those rolls were not good. You could come back full hit points. But I had to say something when we actually got over there, you know, because there were characters who were just hosed, and say, look, you can roll to get up. And they're like, no, you can't. I'm like, read the book. They opened it up. Oh. You know, so they had been hosing their characters over for the duration when people are dying.
Well, we know that the one guy is a failed rules lawyer.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he argued the most with us about this, and it's kind of like when I used flaming hands. It's a 15 burning hands. It's a 15-foot cone, so it's going to be out 3 squares, starting from the center of my square, you know, and then go 1, 2, 3, and be 3 wide. And I cast burning hands, and he's like, well, you can either get 1 here or 2 there. I'm like, no. If I set the cone and angle it, it'll go through those squares. And this is a person that when he plays a character, he'll sit there and put a line down. So if corner to corner, you can barely touch that corner. Oh yeah, I can hit that. Using burning hands, putting a cone down that does that 1 to 3 squares, I would touch each one of them. And you know, he's like, no, you can't do that. I said, look, I can aim my cone wherever the hell I want. It's going to hit all 3 because it would. And, you know, the other DM's like, yeah, he can. So, he's a rules lawyer per se, but only when it's to his advantage, whether it's a player or DM.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's just shitty DMing. If you're going to play that way, don't play. You know, or learn the rules. Stop being a shitty player in DM that's just playing selfishly on both sides. Because, you know, this player has a history. If he DMs, he'll go over after certain people.
Yeah, namely me.
Well, you, or if there's somebody else at the table that he's pissed off at, you know, he takes it out on them instead of just playing the game. You know, and it's stupid, but it happens. And I'm sure everybody out there listening has run across these types of players and DMs where they want to be a rules lawyer, but it's only when it's in their advantage, or when they can screw a party over, or when they can find the tiniest corner that they're aiming at and get a hit. And that's not a good player or a good DM.
No.
especially when they only use those rules when it's convenient for them. But the fun came when we got to the Dracolich.
Yes.
Well, it was fun, but we actually had 3 tables at the table. We decided it was getting late. We'd already gone well over an hour over, and we merged all 3 tables to fight the Dracolich. And how did we resolve this?
We had 3 each table. Each table's leader. I was the
captain.
Leader, the captain of my table. The other paladin was the captain of his table, and then halfling barbarian was the captain of that table.
Basically it was the 3 most annoying players who were captains at each table.
Well, no, the barbarian.
He's kind of annoying too, but that's another thing.
Well, yeah, but he tried to tell us that there was gold there, but they couldn't leave it because there was a bunch of stuff in that room, and they just took it. Yeah, because...
But anyway, the way we resolved it is each captain rolled initiative for their group, and then we went around. We didn't worry about rolling individual initiatives. It would be whoever was closest to the DM, and then it kind of went around in a circle, and you did your actions. The Dracolich room sucked. But, and this was another thing where the one DM kind of got annoying because the 2 mages, we decided a strategy. He had webs.
Yeah.
And he was going to cast webs, which covered a huge portion of the room. And they had a bunch of cultist priests, undead coming in, and part of it hit the Dracolich. So, ended up having 3 squares. And the beauty of the web was, when I went in and used Burning Hands,
it would set on fire.
It set that on fire, which did 2d4 damage. Plus, they were getting the Burning Hands damage. And then, subsequently, each round it would burn 5 feet. Well, I do Burning Hands, and what does the DM say?
That web's now gone.
The web's gone. And I said, no, it's not. It will burn slowly, and each 5-foot square, it'll do 2d4 damage. He goes, no, it's gone. I handed him the web spell, and he goes, oh. And he was pissed from that point forward.
Yeah, it went after you.
So, whatever. Again, if you don't understand the spells, and everybody out there listening knows, I don't like Next. And I'm not a true fan of playing wizards, but I read the rules, I read the spells. That's why the 2 mages worked this out. We're sitting there saying, he goes, that would be perfect. You can use your Burning Hands, I'm putting the webs down, and we'll just fry these things. And it worked beautifully because it did just that. After the DM argued for 5 minutes about it.
The DM also screwed over his table because there was this several thousand pounds of gold. And he's like, oh, it's only 40 pounds of gold. There's several hundred pounds.
Yeah.
Several thousand. It's like a massive pile of gold. That's not 40 pounds.
Well, he screwed over everyone there because everybody should have been able to take gold out.
That was the idea of that room.
Yeah.
That was the entire idea.
But anyway, bad DMing makes for a bad game experience. And that's what happened at different parts. I think part of the thing is, the people sitting at his table, they don't realize that there's bad DMing going on. That there's rules that he doesn't know or understand, or he misconstrues and he screws a table over.
Yeah,
and that hurts that table. We're playing rules, and no, we're not being rules lawyers, but we're using the rules and having fun. He uses his made up rules against a table and screws them over, and it doesn't make for a fun gaming experience. Yeah. So I mean, you had the middle table with the guy and his kids. Everybody was having a good time there.
Yeah, he's a good DM.
He always has fun.
Granted,
you had the DM who had
one season and didn't show up. But
I'm not worried about that. Everybody had fun. He had work, family stuff.
Yeah, like I said, that was probably life stuff.
It was life stuff, and he has little kids, so you have to deal with family first.
And it was good that the kids were having fun.
Fortunately for us, our family, except for Mom, plays D&D, and she goes out to dinner with her friends on Wednesdays when we play D&D, and she does stuff on Sundays if we're playing D&D. But we always make sure we're there for lunch and dinner and with the family.
Yeah.
That's my rule. We're going to eat lunch and dinner with the family.
Like you said earlier, he also had plans with his family as well, so he couldn't stay.
Yeah, that's why I left. He was going to go see Superman. Yeah. And that was fine. But
he is a good
but
DM.
And the DM that hadn't been around for a while, he did okay once he knew the death rules and stuff like that, which I told him what I had read up on, and we were fine.
Once he had finally figured everything out.
Yeah, and I had to tell him part of it because I don't think he really prepared that well. But we might have had a better table if I ran it, but I didn't.
You did good.
Like I said, I didn't want to hose the two guys who hadn't been there in a while. So sometimes I'm too nice when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'll let other people and I'll be the backup. Or if more people would have come, I would have slid off our table and I would have run the other table.
I've had a lot of fun when we played under the second DM.
Yeah, he was fun. We did a lot of role playing in that one season. The one where it was running the Feywild.
Yeah, he's good at that.
So and he understands that you're there to have fun. Though I think the problem with the one DM, he doesn't understand that people are there to have fun. Or I don't know if he misconstrues one thing for fun that's just not fun. Yeah. But we get to the Dracolich chamber, and everybody gotten their idols. We all had things we had to do. We had to get idols. We had to do different tasks to be able to get in there. And then before we could put the idols down and all this kind of stuff, we had to disarm the glyphs. And because there were 3 groups, one glyph was not going to be active. And of course, that's the one that I ran at. Part of it was my tactic to go there. And part of it was the 2 were similar in color, and being red-green colorblind screwed me when I was looking at which glyph was which.
Well, no, he turned that glyph off when you were at it. You were standing on it, so when they were like, oh, well, one of these glyphs is off, so which one is it? And he's like, the purple one. And which one are you standing on? You're standing on the purple one.
Well, we should have established which ones we had in the first place.
Yeah.
We should have asked that, so we failed there. The DM failed there. There was miscommunication failure on both sides. But it still worked out because those webs, I moved over there too because the webs hadn't cleared out. The undead weren't able to come down that pathway. And so what did I do?
You were out of the Dracolich breath weapon.
Exactly, because he had killed me. I popped back up. And the beauty was I got all my spells back when you got back up. And I didn't have anything bad like being a white where I'm casting my Baconator on the group. So I got up, I used the Flaming Sphere, and I took care of all those guys on the other glyph across the way. And then I ran over because I knew that those webs were there. And they couldn't, they kept failing their saving throws. The zombies were not trying to come down the hallway. So what did I do? I went and put up another Flaming Sphere on those 4 guys on the other side. And what happened?
They all died.
They were gone because they took the Flaming Sphere damage, they took the 2d4 damage from the webs, and then that came in and started nailing the Dracolich too.
And then their turn started and they took another Flaming Sphere.
Yeah, so it was awesome. That was the only thing that I had fun with. The character was very powerful with that spell.
Yeah.
And it worked in our favor. And then we were able to kill the Dracolich pretty quickly once we didn't have to worry about these stupid cultists. And it helped because he was taking those 2d4s of damage because he had 4 squares, I think, where those webs were across him.
Yeah.
And the DM tried to argue that too. And we're like, look, we drew down where it was. Bam, bam, bam. He's got 4 hits coming to him. God, when the player draws something down and you plan it out on purpose, don't screw the group. If you're a DM out there, don't fuck your group over. It's not funny. Excuse the language. It's not funny. It's not fun for the players. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to have a group for maybe a couple of months, and you're going to keep screwing them over.
And they're never going to play with you again.
And they're going to quit. They're going to either not play the game again because you've made it miserable for them, or they're going to find another DM who's not a douche. So as a basic rule as a DM, don't be a douche.
Yeah, and something I do when I DM, I just try...
You try to kill me, but that's you and me. We always try to kill each other.
Well, I haven't tried to kill you in a while because I can't. It's like impossible to hit you.
Yeah. You tried for the longest time, and I think you gave up.
I just kind of play it so that they kind of spread the damage out because I don't want to be aiming at one character and making it look like I'm just going after them. I want to kind of spread the damage out.
Well, you do that, and you do try to play strategically.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, strategy is something else where DMs fail. They haven't learned strategy or combat strategy. Our group does well because we play heavy on strategy when we go into a room.
Yeah.
So, but, we ended up killing the Dracolich. And it's funny because the freaking halfling barbarian, he's sitting there, tie a rope on me and all that. I had already used Mage Hand and grabbed that staff, and I was packing up. And he's like, all right, they throw me. I said, well, you go over an empty cavern. I just said I used mage hand and I grabbed the staff. Oh.
That was funny.
Listening is fundamental. But whatever. It was fun, but I will admit, once we got to 8 o'clock, I was done.
Yeah.
That was 7 hours. I was done for the day, and it went to about 8:45. It did go too long.
And the DMs made sure of that by healing the Dracolich.
Well, that was something that would happen. But eventually they're like, no, we're not going to do that, because people were sitting there going, oh, God, when's this going to end, pretty much. So they ended it. If we could have gotten through, which I think like the room we got bogged down in, if we would have just ignored the thief and his I have a bad feeling, if we would have gone through it room by room, I think the combat would have gone a lot faster, because we only would have hit like 5, 6 guys in those 2 rooms. We could have cleaned them up quick.
Yeah.
And then, do the dormitory, do the room to the south, and then move to the southwest or west from the room on the south. Clean those rooms up, and then come up into the altar room. And we would have had to deal with 19, but there's a big difference between 19 and like 28, 30 guys.
Well, it was 19. It was 18 normal people and then the one boss.
I know, and
the boss sucked.
Yeah, but it would have been easier to deal with them if we didn't have so many more guys coming in. So that was a mistake we made.
Yeah.
We should have just barreled through those rooms to the south, because there was no way we might have been able to talk our way through. Towards the end, after we got through the dormitories and we started working our way through everything else to the south, we came into a room where they were torturing a guy, and we were able to persuade the guards. We said, look, there's a ton of our brothers back there, because we're still in cultist robes. They've been killed. We heard that there are adventurers coming in here, which we were the adventurers. It was funny. We said we've heard, and we made our roll. We said and it was all true that they were killed by adventurers back there. So it gave us a bonus, because we weren't really lying. We're saying, these guys were killed by adventurers back there. You need to go back and secure the area. So the guards left. That left what?
That left 2 cultists who we assassinated, basically.
Killed immediately. And then we got info from the drow. Then we moved up, and there were a couple more guys there. And we were able to persuade them into leaving, too.
Yeah, we told them that the lizard men had let us through, or let some adventurers through.
Yes.
And then they saw the drow was gone, so we told them that...
The guards and all had taken him, which we had dumped them down like a cistern.
Yeah.
And said, look, they took him out to bury him and dispose of the body, and go talk to, you guys need to go talk to those lizard men, because they're just letting anybody in. They hate you guys. So we were starting crap. It was hilarious. The 2 rooms we got through, we might have gotten through those south rooms.
Yeah.
But we made it hard on ourselves.
And then we went up into the preparation room, which had a flesh golem. But he died, like, when we got in.
Right as we got into the room, we met up with the one group. It's like, he's gone. It's like, really? Okay. But that worked out, because I didn't want to go through another long combat. We had a big combat coming with the Dracolich, and that went, even though there were 3 groups, that went for a good 5 rounds, probably.
Yeah.
So...
Well, but it was really, really long, 5 rounds.
It was. It took forever. But it was fun. If something else like this comes up, I think I might take a break from these game day events, because I'd rather play our Sunday thing. Sunday didn't work for us because of Father's Day, so I was like, all right, we'll do this. But I think in the future, I'm gonna bail out on some of these.
Yeah.
We've got our Wednesdays and we have a regular Sunday game. That's enough, and we're still working heavy with our PS3 gaming and stuff like that. So. My rule again, family time before game time, so that's pretty much what we're going to do.
Yeah. About Sunday, so we're going to switch to GURPS in default?
Once we've killed Orcus, and we've killed Orcus, my thief has ascended to godhood and has her city. Yes, I'm all for going to GURPS.
I've got an idea for it, like the way the campaign will work.
Like I said, I want you to write a treatise, which lays out your world, lays out the wars that are going on. Make it like a summer project.
But I have an idea for the way people will level up and all.
Well, they level up according to the way you level up in the game.
You can customize it, though, can't you? You can customize everything.
We need to sit down. We haven't done it yet. We need to sit down and read the GURPS rules. I'm excited about GURPS. I like the goofiness of advantages and disadvantages. You know, like if you're a pyromaniac, and we're leaving the Dracolich thing. I like the fact that, you know, if you take the disadvantaged pyromaniac to get more build points, yes, you're going to need to set fires, you know, whenever the opportunity arises, because you're a crazy pyromaniac.
Of course.
But then you can get something wicked cool in exchange for those points to make your character
like
more powerful.
fire breathing.
No.
Fire breathing for pyromaniac, you know?
No, but you want something that makes that character, depending what type, if you're doing a thief or what you're going to do, that makes it more powerful, which I'm thinking, you know, some of the psionic type powers would be awesome to add in on a character. You know, give yourself the ability to teleport 15, 20 feet. It doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, if that power's there, it can be quite useful if you're trying to go roof to roof. Woof, there you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like I said, I have an idea. Like, every time you kill something, it gives you this currency. And this currency is used for everything.
What you need to do, I'm telling you need to read the GURPS rules because it lays out. You pretty much get that. You're getting points. But what it does is you look at the group, and even though there's like a pool of points for doing this, you decide who did most of the work. And you're going to give the bulk of points to people who did the work. If somebody sat back, they're going to get a minor portion of it.
Yeah.
So you divvy it out according to who did what, who did the best. And I like that. People might not like it because they're used to just, even if you sit back and don't do squat, you get a piece of the pie.
Well, I like it in GURPS they have necromancy as well.
Oh, you and your necromancers. Oh,
well,
my
you know,
God.
I like it.
Yeah, but you're the DM, so all you're going to be able to do is make necromancers. Nobody's playing a necromancer. I doubt it.
We'll see.
You're going to have to con somebody into it. But,
come on,
yeah,
wizard, you want to play a necromancer, don't you? It's like a wizard, but you get to raise stuff and have undead kill for
I'm going to make GURPS will let me make a true assassin class, and I'm going to do that.
Huh.
It's going to be wicked.
I'll assassinate your assassin.
Go ahead, whatever.
Well,
but that, you know, the weekend, the gaming was fun. It was grueling. You know, what did you think? I mean, I thought it really got grueling at the end.
Well, RPG Jim definitely wanted to leave, but I wanted to finish it no matter what.
She wanted out of there. She was playing too. She was our cleric, and I guess at about, oh my God, I guess at about an hour before we ended up stopping, maybe an hour and a half, she was done. But we couldn't just bail on the group.
Nope.
So, and then, but I really wanted out of there too. I was hungry. I wanted out of there.
Yeah.
And it was a grueling session. It was fun for about the first 4 or 5 hours, and then it just started dragging. And that's not DM's fault or anything else. It was just a long session for one day. I think, you know, we go 5 hours on Sundays, and that's a perfect time frame. You know, at the end of that 5 hours, we're ready to go. We've accomplished a lot. We've had fun.
Yeah.
I think if you go farther, I mean, I remember as a kid, you've never done this, but we did our 24, 48, even 72-hour gaming marathon sessions where we played D&D, and I mean, it was absolutely grueling. And you would have fun for part of it, and, you know, you'd talk yourself into the idea that you're still having fun, but you're just tired, you're hungry, you know, you'd eventually get up, go out to McDonald's, Burger King, whatever, get something to eat, come back and play some more, but it's a long session, and, you know, I don't have it in me to play past 5-6 hours anymore.
I do. I had fun through the entire thing. I didn't like the fact that we had like a 3-hour encounter. I don't like super long encounters, but
and you would think in Next, because of the combat, it wouldn't take so long, but it was just that we screwed up that made it so long. I mean, it would have taken the same amount of time probably to go through the individual rooms,
but it would have been more fun.
It would have been different encounters, and I think that's what made that encounter just so grueling. Is it was just one big encounter with wave after wave coming in through those rooms.
Yeah.
So, anyway, if you didn't get to participate in Vault of the Dracolich, that's pretty much how it went for us. The other groups, I don't know what they did.
One group ended up going a bunch.
One group came in the water, and their DM, it was funny because it was his little boys, and they looked like they're, about 7, 8 years old.
It's good that they're playing the
game.
And
he told them, whatever you do, you know, he gave them DM knowledge. He said, don't get out of the boat. And there was hydras and all kinds of stuff in that water area, which they ended up fighting and killing a hydra. They had all kinds of stuff they had to fight.
Yeah.
But they got through there. The other group came in which entryway?
They came in through the portal room, but they ended up going up against one of the against a bunch of wraiths.
Yeah.
And one of them started off with like 50 hit points, and the end he was at 21 because they did permanent damage.
Well, it was funny too because I think the other two groups, when you find your idol, the image of the Dracolich comes up for 2 rounds and attacks you, then goes away.
We ran.
They actually ended up finding the third one. You argued with one guy because he did something stupid and wanted all the things, but you took it. And then we hear the Dracolich coming, and we just bolted the hell out of there. So we didn't have to deal with that image of the Dracolich as he came in. But we had to deal with the real Dracolich, which was worse. But it was like I said, it was fun. For me, it was grueling. I know for RPG Gem, her time period is probably about 5 hours.
Yeah.
You're young, you could probably go through it and enjoy it a little more. But I'm bowing out of any of these in the next 6 months. I just want to stick to our regular campaigns that we're playing. So it's up to you. If you want to go, I'll drop you off and enjoy myself and go eat some Mediterranean buffet.
Yeah, whatever.
Without you. So that's it. That is, we went a little bit longer than I expected to. We talked about a few extra things. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I was just talking about where the Sunday campaign was going. That was about it.
I think we have a solid maybe 3, 4, 5 months at the outset to finish that campaign up.
Yeah.
Because we always have swim meets, stuff like that coming up. But I think it'll probably be October, November. That's why I want you to work on, like I said, make a treatise. Set up your world, design everything, decide what you're going to do. And that'll set us up for the fall campaign playing GURPS. I mean, we still haven't decided if we're going to do fantasy, time period, or what.
We're going fantasy. I like fantasy.
So, I think part of it asks the group, but please don't bring liches and stuff into it. I mean, I'm tired of that stuff.
You're talking about me not including one of my favorite monsters.
I know, but I'm so tired of the liches. Let's do a straight fantasy campaign. If you want to, that's fine, but keep some of this stuff out of there.
All right. Stay
Stay within what GURPS has in it. Make it within the games.
I don't have a bestiary.
Well, you have the fantasy book, and it lays a lot out, and we'll get the bestiary eventually. I think we'll have a break in July when we're not buying some games because the new releases are not there. So we can pick up the bestiaries.
We'll probably be recording a bunch of Black Ops, maybe some other things.
Well, I've got to upload, which this is non D&D related, but I've got to upload The Last of Us. You've got to finish up Metro. We've got to finish up.
I actually have a bunch on my drive that
we
I
have
got
to
to
finish
upload.
up Fuse. Now, more gaming related, I have a vlog I'm going to do this week. If you're easily offended, you might not want to watch it because it's about a subject that I find as a sore spot. It's not about DMs. It's about a specific class of player that shows up to the local gaming shop that everyone should find offensive. If you have a problem with that, then
Don't watch it.
don't watch it. But I'm not going to be nice. It may be amusing, but I'm not going to be nice. Then we'll do our Thursday
Wrap up
for Encounters because it'll be the first session of this new season. And
first official session.
yes, and then next week on Monday we'll be going over Kingdom of Ghouls, our progress in that.
Yep.
So that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check back to see the vlog when it goes up. We may even start working on our green screen technique. We have everything set up, and we have some pretty cool plans as far as reviews and stuff like that. I plan to do some regular board gaming reviews in the near future, talking about some of the D&D related board games and fantasy board games that we've gotten. So you might want to watch for that as well. along with our regular podcasts, our vlogs, and if you're interested in PS3 gaming, then go look at our channel, Red Boy Games, on YouTube, and that's where we do all of our gaming. Like you said, we're going to finish off the games we have. Next week, you're going to have Deadpool. Deadpool comes out next week, so you'll have that. And I know you're excited about that. And then we may even be doing some Black Ops 2 gaming, even though I suck at it badly.
Yeah.
So, thanks again for listening. This is RPG Dad signing off.
RPGNate.
And bye.
Bye.